Hello and welcome. My name is Bashir Fadl, and on behalf of LearnITCoursesOnline.com as well as LearnJobsOnline.com, I'd like to thank you. We do know that you have a variety of choices of IT training, and you've chosen us, so we really appreciate that and hope that you enjoy it. Thank you.
User stories. Well, first let's start with a definition of what a user story is. A user story is a small, self-defined unit of development work designed to accomplish a specific goal within a product. A user story is usually written from the user's perspective and follows the format. As a user persona, I want to perform this action so that I can accomplish this goal. As, and then the user persona, I want and then to perform this action so that I can accomplish this goal. So what is a user story? In agile software development, a user story is a brief, plain language explanation of a feature or functionality written from a user's point of view. Many agile experts also describe a user story as the smallest unit of product development work that can lead to a complete element of user functionality. Product teams choose to break development work into user stories instead of product features or product requirements for several reasons. User stories are easy for everyone to understand. User stories represent bite-sized deliverables that can fit in sprints, whereas not all features can. User stories help the team focus on real people rather than abstract features. User stories also build momentum by giving development teams a feeling of progress. So what does a user story look like? Most product teams use a similar user story template, typically just a sentence or two written according to the following formula, which is as a, and the description of the user, I want, then the functionality, so that, and then we mention the benefit. So now let's look at some examples. So let's examine some examples of user stories. In practice, user stories might look like these. As a database administrator, I want to automatically merge data sets from different sources so that I can more easily create reports for my internal customers. Let's look at another example. As a brand manager, I want to get alerts whenever a reseller advertises our products below agreed upon prices so that I can quickly take action to protect our brand. Let's look at another example. As the leader of a remote team, I want our team messaging app to include file sharing and annotation so that my team can collaborate in real time and keep an archive of their work in a single place. So as we can see from the third example above, the persona in our user story does not need to be limited to a person's job title. A leader for a remote team could be a department manager, company vice president, the CEO of a small startup, or any other role in an organization. But for the purpose of explaining the story, allowing users to upload a file to our team messaging app and then make native annotations to that file, it makes sense to describe the user for that feature as someone who oversees a team of colleagues working in different locations. So the various users described in the stories our team writes might in some cases be the same person needing different functionality for different tasks. So who should write user stories? In many agile organizations, the product owner takes primary responsibility for writing user stories and organizing them on the product backlog. In reality, though, this is a shared responsibility among the entire cross-functional product team. In fact, one of the reasons they are written in plain English, free of any development jargon or technical detail, is that this allows anyone on either the business or the technical side of the team to contribute a user story for consideration. That team member, product manager, UX designer, or anyone else only needs to have an understanding of the specific user persona problem they're hoping to solve. They do not need to know how the development team will actually code that solution. So what is the difference then between a user story and a use case? User story versus use case. Like user stories, a use case describes how a user might interact with a product to solve a specific problem. But the two are not interchangeable. They are different tools used in product development. Use cases document both a user's goal and the functional requirement of the system. In other words, use cases are designed to capture much more detail than a user story about the process a user goes through to achieve the desired outcome from the interacting with a product. Whereas a user story is written as a very brief statement describing only the user's end goal. A user story is written as a very brief statement describing only the user's end goal. A use case often describes several additional steps, including the preconditions required before the use case can begin, the main flow of events, also called the basic flow, describing a user's path step by step to completing an action with the product. Also alternate and exception flows, meaning the variant path a user might take with a product to complete the same or similar goal. And then also possibly a visual diagram depicting the entire workflow. So how do we write a user story? Here are simple 6 steps processes for crafting our user stories. Step 1, decide what done will look like. What's our definition of done? How do we qualify done? Because in most cases, the user story describes an end state, when the user is able to complete the task or achieve the goal described. So we need to have this end state in mind when we write ours. So the rest of our team knows when they can mark the development work done. Step number 2, document tasks and subtasks. Although our actual user story will include only the standard statement we described up, which is as, and then a persona, I want, and then the feature, so that, and then the reason and benefit, we will also need to document the details required to complete the development work described in the story. That means outlining tasks and subtasks and assigning them to the right people. Step number 3, determine our user personas. Who is served in the story? Which type of a user or customer? We need to know to document this upfront. If we have several different users in mind, we might want to break them into more than one user story. This way, our team can stay laser focused on helping a specific persona achieve a specific objective for each story. Step number 4, create stories as ordered steps. The concept of a user story mapping suggests that we can think of our entire product as a series of tasks or jobs the product helps our users complete. So with that in mind, if we're trying to structure work on a larger process or a more comprehensive set of product functionality, we need to write each self-contained step as a story. Step 5, seek user feedback. To improve our chances of allocating resources to development work that will resonate with our market, we need to talk to users and customers about their priorities and learn what more they want from our products. Only after gathering and analyzing this feedback should we begin crafting user stories. Step 6, draft stories that can be completed in one sprint. User stories that take longer than a single sprint, usually about 2 weeks, should be broken into smaller stories. This way, our team gets a sense of completion in each sprint. Because they're able to complete some new functionality each time, it also allows our team to push our new functionality to the market more frequently. So product teams, why wouldn't we write with our users in mind? Aside from the fact that they're designed to fit on index cards and can be easily understood by anyone, one of the biggest advantages of user stories is that they can help us from getting lost in the technical details of our product's backend, or from becoming enamored with the UX that we believe is elegant, but that isn't actually structured in a way our users prefer to work. So user stories help our team accomplish all of this. It allows us to build better products by forcing us to make one simple change to our approach to development planning. Rather than writing up your plans from the product's point of view, which is features to build, user stories force us to draft each proposed idea for new functionality from the point of view of the actual people who will be using that functionality.
With this, we come to the end of this session, and we'd like to thank you for joining us. And also, don't hesitate to visit our website at learnitcoursesonline.com to leave your feedback and reviews. And also look at our events. We have a lot of free sessions, and we'd be more than happy to have you join at any given time, and also sign up with us for our newsletter. Thank you and have a wonderful time.